is longevity, feeling better. It's not about what watch you're wearing, what car you're driving. It's about how long you're living and how good the quality of your life.
Imagine if Apple would only sell iPhone and not sell computers, tablets, and any other devices. And on top of that, they will only sell it to one specific group of population. All right, today we have a very special guest, David Hernandez, somebody I know for over a decade.
Yes.
Um, David built a really interesting name in the market as a Miami love doctor, helped a lot of patients to change their marriages, a relationship by improving their sexual health. Then later stepped into a deeper role of training physicians on how to do the same, which overall indirectly helps a lot of people in the United States. So, welcome, David. We'd love to talk about your experience, where you've been, where you're going.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invite, Alex. Well, like Alex mentioned, we've known each other since like 2014, end of 2014 is when I started at Health Gains. And it's been a long journey, my friend.
Yeah, it is. I remember during the COVID time, I'm hearing this name, Miami Love Doctor, Miami Love Doctor. Like, where did this come from?
So during COVID, the funny thing is, a lot of people realized that since they had to be locked up together, their sexual health wasn't 100%. And I started getting a lot of calls. You know,
And but how does the name Miami Love Doctor came to existence?
well, basically, um, so my mentor in all this was Dr. Richard Gaines. And I started with him in 2014, at the end of 2014. You were there, and he pioneered Gaines Wave, and we started treating a ton of patients. It's shockwave therapy for or acoustic wave therapy for erectile dysfunction, and we started treating a lot of patients, and it got overwhelming. And then we started training doctors, and this is where my whole outlook changed. It didn't matter what I knew if I couldn't share it, which is I think is how Dr. Gaines felt when he took me under his wing. And and I started training doctors in acoustic wave therapy, in O shot and P shot, basically revolutionizing their practices because it was turnkey add-on that not only, and these were doctors who had established HRT clinics or hormone therapy clinics. So they were making guys, increasing guys' libido, increasing their testosterone. But, studies come to demonstrate that 80% of erectile issues come from blood flow, and some come from psychiatric as well, but mostly blood flow issues. And if you could restore that, then you not only improve this person's intimacy, but you improve their overall well-being. You know.
Uh, Tell us about patient's experience. What?
So, in my experience with patients, I I get, without sounding too confident or trying to show off or anything, but I've saved several marriages. I can tell you that patients usually are a little reluctant. This is especially Latino patients, which is why if you see in my social media, I try to push some Spanish content because I think education is very important for the patients. When it comes to HRT and sexual wellness, especially Latinos, because they see the whole testosterone as a taboo, and in the machismo, the Latino machismo, where I could break down a wall with my private part, you know? So they never admit to having a problem. And they usually resort to things that don't work, like pills, which are just a little band aid on an injury. It's like putting a little band aid on a huge cut, you know? It'll work a little bit, but it's not really going to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
patients usually after their first consult, even over the phone, they usually on the second time we talk, they usually open up, and then it's life changing for them. I think in terms of being a physician in that position, it's very important to answer their call or their text or their email as soon as you get it. Because these patients, I say about 80% of them, had an experience where they did not function how they thought they would, and they picked up the phone or went online and they called you. And if you missed that call, you missed your chance to help them.
I see. Interesting points. I mean, it's in a lot of other things when it comes to markets and medical procedures. They have the problem, they feel this emotional hurt, they go search, so they're still in that phase. They reach out, and if you wait a day or two, they cool down, and now they don't want to go back into that pain, discussing, thinking about it. It's a great point. I have a separate topic I'm going to be talking about, which is speed to lead, not here, but it's totally explains why when clinics don't reach out to prospects right away, they end up chasing them, they end up losing them.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I actually trained a clinic, and I'm not going to mention names, but they had their wellness counselor, which is what I call, or wellness coordinator, which is what I call the person that helps you through the process here in my practice. But they would only reach out to their leads or the patients wanting help on Thursdays.
By
So
that time, somebody else already took the
So
care of
if
them.
if the lead reached out to them, and I know nothing about marketing, you know, that's your job. That's I leave it to the experts. But it makes it's common sense, you know. If this guy is calling you or reaching out to you on Saturday, and you're gonna wait till next Thursday to reach out. They found
Yeah.
somebody else.
As far as pills and shockwave treatments and P shots, I remember the situation that patients first start pills, then okay, that solves a problem only for short term. Some of them have side effects, but if you really truly want to solve the problem, that's when the PRP comes in place. That's when the shockwave therapy comes in place.
Yeah. So this has become a big issue now that you mentioned pills with younger men because a bunch of companies are doing real strong marketing on in TikTok and social media. I'm not going to mention names. One is a little red pill. The other one is the blue one, and and they just a little text back and forth, and they send these young guys the pills. And these guys, by the time they hit 35, 40, these pills no longer work. And now they have a serious problem because they were depending on it. So I try, here in my practice, what we try to do is attack the root cause of any of your problems. You know, we don't go for quick fixes. My goal is to fix my patient's life and change it for the better, right? I want to promote longevity. I want to promote, you know, better lifespan, better vitality, better energy, and basically where their aging becomes irrelevant, where they just feel better. You know, that's becoming the new luxury is longevity, feeling better. It's not about what watch you're wearing, what car you're driving. It's about how long you're living and how good the quality of your life
I
is.
mean, the medicine got a long. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, the medicine improved so much over time. Hormone therapy finally accepted. It's no
Yes.
longer a thing that people afraid of. The sexual health has been already
You still
dealt
can't say
with.
some things. And
Regenerative medicine is wow. I mean, there's a totally different podcast about that.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
there,
100%.
there's so much available to restore, rejuvenate. I mean, the biohackers also leading the way on testing things out.
And it's very mainstream. It's very
Hmm.
mainstream now. Before, I remember I've been, you know, we've been ordering Semarelin and different peptides, PT-141, melanotan to make your skin darker, and it actually improves your sexual health and without getting sun and stuff. Um, but we've been doing these things since 2016, and now everybody's talking about peptides.
Hmm.
Everybody's talking about hormones. Everybody's talking about sexual health, and it's great. It's great, and tons of sorry, excuse me, tons of med spas have popped up all over the place, and I don't see it as competition. I just see it as more access for the patients. I just hope they're doing it correctly, and have the proper training. Other than that, if the patient's getting the help, then I'm all for it.
I watched how the demand for sexual health procedures grew like crazy pre-COVID. I
Yeah.
mean, it was
And during
amazing to
COVID,
watch.
believe it or not, during COVID, it was a huge boom for me because you couldn't open your practice. So basically, I tore apart my shockwave device. I had in my car, in my trunk, I had my shockwave device. I had 20, 30 PRP kits. I had my centrifuge, and I would show up in a massage bed, and I would show up to patients' homes.
So yeah,
And
you took practice to them
to them, I took my
because they
practice to
couldn't
them.
go to places. That's very innovative actually.
That's where the Miami Love Doctor came on.
Here we go. Now we finally found out.
Yeah.
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 Very cool. And I
So
also noticed you got involved with Dr. Runels, the founder of P-Shot, O-Shot, Vampire Facelift.
yeah, I've been training for him since. Well, I was training for him under our the practice where we both worked at, under Gaines. And then when 2018, when I went on my own, um, he invited me back to Alabama. We talked. I showed him a little thing that I was doing, and he named it and trademarked it a week later.
He's very smart in
He's
that way.
hilarious. But I love the guy. He's extremely smart, great to talk to, and people sometimes brush him off as crazy. Crazy
Yeah.
is the true smart, you know. And it's awesome, man. I've been training for him, like I said, since 2016. And funny story, the way I met him was when we started Gainswave. There was a group of doctors that were getting trained, and he was amongst the doctors, and I didn't know him personally. So I'm here training the doctors on Shockwave, and then I tell the doctors, now I'm going to train you guys on something called the P Shock, and I start explaining how Charles Reynolds came up with it, and then I go, he has his technique, I have my own, and I do my way, and then at the end of the thing, he goes, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Charles Reynolds," and I'm like, "Oh wow!" He offered me a job that day. And I was like, no, I'm staying with Dr. Gaines. But we've been friends ever since. I have his personal cell. He calls me all the time. David, any courses coming up? Do you want me to go? He's really cool.
Yeah, I remember I met him too in Miami when he came for dinner when we did a games wave.
Yeah,
Um, Very nice guy,
very
definitely.
nice guy. And by the way, the cool thing is all the doctors that I train for O shot, B shot, even the vampire facelift, etc. When I train them, they get a certificate from me, and they get a certificate directly from Reynolds, signed by Reynolds. So it's not like, Oh, I know the P shot because David taught me. Yeah, you know the P shot because David taught you, but you're also getting certified by Runels.
No, I'm from even from a marketing side. I'm really glad that he've done this. The trademark names, and he spent millions of dollars promoting those trademark names.
But it's not only that; it keeps doctors safe because if you're following standard practice, if it's established, all the doctors under his membership are doing it the same. Everybody's talking to everybody. Then it's safe for the patient. If you go to Dr. So and so who's doing the PRP shot, completely out of brand, out of protection, and things go wrong for you as a patient or wrong for you as a doctor, you have no umbrella.
No, of course, yeah. I know there's a clinics who just take the PRP, put it in a vacutainer, spin it, and they think that's enough, and then injecting it, saying this is gonna the thing without proper protocol, tested, proven. They
No.
just
So
is
some patients have come here. Funny story. I got a call from a clinic here in Aventura. Not in Aventura, I'm sorry. Right past in Hollywood. They wanted me to go in and do their P shots for them. Right? We're talking, I'm negotiating with the owner, and I tell the owner my price. He goes, "That's what we're charging per P shot." And I was like, "Wait, there's a standard price that everybody should charge per piece." "Oh no." He said, so that's another thing. He wasn't even under Reynolds membership. And he
he's
was
just doing
charging
his things, calling it a P shot, charging a lower price because he's diluting his service
exactly.
and it hurting everybody in the
Not
end.
only that, so patients like that, when I get patients and they're doing it so and so, and I walk them back to my lab, I don't like justifying price, but sometimes I walk them back to my lab and I show them the centrifuge I use. I show them the kits that I use. And then he goes, "Oh no, this doctor used little blue tubes." And I was like, "Yeah, those are to draw your blood. Those are for labs. Those are not for PRP. You're not getting PRP there." So things people do out there is crazy sometimes.
So you training other doctors now? Are you still doing it now?
So from from where we both work together, the practice we both work together, to now, I say I've trained over maybe 5,000 doctors.
Wow.
Yeah. After I left in 2018, I continued training up in Alabama, in Birmingham. And now I'm setting up a bilingual course for all the Latin speaking doctors here in Miami.
That was Florida now.
There's a lot of doctors here that learned enough English to pass their boards, but their first language is Spanish, and I want to help them provide that service.
No,
So
of
yeah,
course.
I've been teaching Shockwave. I never stopped teaching Shockwave. I actually teach my own way of doing it, which I call the V Wave, because my practice name is Vibrance. This is the first letter of my practice name. I've been doing. Plus, the people that get trained by me can call it V Wave as well. I don't charge them any royalties. Um, I've been training V Wave, O Wave, P Shot, O Shot, Vampire Facelift, the Vampire Wing Lift. I've been doing size enhancement for males. And it's not, let me tell you, I've noticed it's not about, yes, it's a little bit about self awareness and self appearance, but it's not about vanity. It's 100% about confidence, feeling better about yourself, and yeah, just confidence, feeling more confident. I've seen that the size enhancement patients usually come for that. But
What
that's
about
how
women?
that's how the whole Miami Love Doctor
What
thing.
about women?
Women, so women usually are the first to come. They they are more open to their sexuality. They're more open to hormones, and then when you get their libido and their hormones in that perfect, the sweet spot I call it, they'll drag. First of all, a guy that you fix his hormones usually won't tell any of his friends. They don't tell anybody. It has to be their best friend. They'll bring probably one referral. Their best friend or their brother or somebody real close. You get a female's hormones correct. You do an O shot and they see the results. Anything that you do for a female, and she'll bring five of her friends, guaranteed. And she'll drag her boyfriend through that door.
Yep, because now that she is better, now he needs to get up to speed too.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, that's why we see the medical practices that serve to men and women thrive, versus we're looking at men's health centers that only do men, having a hard time to stay alive.
Yeah, because the problem is if you center your center over, I'm called the Miami Love Doctor, but if you see my name, my clinic name is Vibrance. I don't even center it around sexual health. Why? Because if you center it just to sex, then they're only going to come for you. Patients are only going to come to you for sex, and you do so much other things. And if you only do it for men, even though you do hormones, you do other uh, vitality services or longevity services, my let me tell you something. If I would go to a place that they're opening up all over the place, that's just a men's health performance clinic, and I would go just to that, all your male friends will tell you that you're going to that because either you don't get erections or they make fun of you because you're getting a size enhancement, or they'll tell you
Hmm.
something,
Hmm.
you know? So that's why guys, male performance centered around male performance centers are usually having a hard time to get guys in because guys won't go just because they're afraid of what their friends might say or if their girlfriend will find out that they're having problems. Because usually guys' first visits, they don't tell their significant others about it.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, if looking from a business perspective, imagine if Apple would only sell iPhone and not sell computers, tablets, and any other devices. And on top of that, they will only sell it to one specific group of population.
That's it.
That wouldn't be no. That would be. I mean, they still be a business, but not a
They
thriving
wouldn't be
business.
Apple.
Yeah, yeah. Sexual health is a definitely great category to add to any medical practice that already have patients, uh,
100%.
because yeah, it
100%. Yeah,
benefits.
this is my advice to your other clients and anybody else that you have come on the show. If you already have an established HRT clinic and you're not doing sexual health, you should add sexual health.
Yeah, otherwise they go somewhere else.
Exactly, because they go hand in hand. They
Yep.
go hand in hand. Usually, and I say this is one of the first things that I say during my presentation when I'm teaching is usually guys don't seek out testosterone therapy because they want to get leaner or stronger. It's usually because they had a failed attempt at intimacy and they automatically blame their hormones.
Yeah, especially men in a relationship get comfortable with the way they look. But yeah, once performance is declining in the bedroom, that becomes a problem for the relationship.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And the World Health Organization says that without intimate relationships, you can't achieve full health. So sexual wellness and having and maintaining your relationship is part of health. So
Now, 100% having sexual health and HRT in one medical practice is totally beneficial. If HRT brings patients, let's say over 45, 50, there's a high chance they're already experiencing some kind of decline in sexual health.
well, another service that I have that my patients love is IV therapy. I do a lot of NAD IV therapy. You know, so NAD. I'm gonna give you a quick. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
It restores. energy, boosts brain function, and repairs DNA. So it's basically a great new tool for extending your longevity. And longevity, like I said earlier, I think, or before we came, started recording, when we were talking, just going over our thing, longevity is the new luxury. It's not about what car you drive, what watch you're wearing. It's about how long you live, how good the quality of your life is, and and your lifespan. So
I mean, definitely right now with all the medical advancements, why not?
yeah,
Why not fix your hormones and optimize them? Why not look into your sexual health and see if you need a little bit fix there? Why not look into regenerative medicine and see if your
the
joints are
peptides.
failing and needs to be restored rework? Why not take peptides for any specific use that they need? And peptides are amazing. You see what's happening with GLP-1s.
Yeah,
It took country by storm with the weight loss and fixing the
but
weight loss problem if done correctly.
yeah, if done correctly, that's 100%. And also, the funny thing on GLP-1s, the brand names are still in national shortage. That's
Yep.
how hard it hit the country and the world, basically.
I mean, it's working. It's working. It's making people lose weight. For others, it helps with some other issues. But yeah, doing it the correct way to make sure there is no side effects. That's a key.
Yeah,
There's other peptides out there for sexual health, right? There's one of
and
them.
PT 141 is great for
Yep.
sexual health. It's actually there's a brand name for it that it's for female sexual health for hyperactive sexual desire disorder. It basically gets them in the mood. It helps them because usually hyperactive sexual desire disorder in women is that their brain and their private parts are not connecting. It's like, you know, they function fine, but there's no connection, and then and this brings it back. So it works. It's worked. There's actually even a pill called Ali that helps females with hypoactive sexual desire disorder that you could prescribe. You don't make, physicians in the cash base don't make any money from it, but by prescribing this to your female patients, it actually helps them improve their sexual health, thus increasing your rapport with your patients and making their life better, which is what you took your Hippocratic oath to do, right?
Yep. Where do you see this whole medicine is going,
Wow.
especially in the anti-aging side?
So you know, I so anti-aging is now longevity.
Hmm.
Yeah, nobody says anti-aging anymore. It just they changed it. But this anti-aging world, I think the advancements have been incredible. A lot of chronic diseases with discoveries are being treated. Very serious chronic diseases are being treated. I've seen, you know, it's incredible. I've seen and I've heard and met personally stage 4 cancers disappear. So this part of medicine, regenerative and functional, and outside the regular norms and restrictions of traditional medicine, it's growing. Stem cell therapy is amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's another one, very good
It's
one.
it's big in your practice, and it's big, said right, done right, protected correctly. You could do this for your patients, and it's life changing for them. Definitely increasing their longevity, 100%, and how they feel about their life. Restoring their joints. I could go on and on. Restoring their sexual function. There's actually now the use of botulinum toxin used for erectile dysfunction.
I've
So
heard about that too. Yeah.
yeah, and it works. It kicks in at 6 weeks after the injection, and guys who weren't having erections on their own are now having erections without any other treatment. It's amazing.
Interesting how the Botox for wrinkles now being
Yeah.
used for sexual health.
It was funny since we mentioned Runels. He already trademarked the name for that treatment.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he called it. I think it was Bocox.
Bocax, yep.
Yeah,
I've heard that name.
yeah. I think he got a little slap on the wrist from Allergan, but and he renamed it. But and now they're doing it for female sexual health. Actually, a clitoral, but Botox shot. I didn't want to name brand names, but yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, I've been in this industry since 2004, and it's amazing to watch how new procedures come in place, how it changes people's lives, how it get adopted in doctors' offices, and definitely where we're going with all of this.
well, definitely, I can tell you that, Alex. When I started on Health Gains, that opened my view of medicine and of marketing and of sales. I remember we were in like 4,000 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
and
And then we
only
grow
like only like 500 or 600 square feet was the practice, and everything was marketing. Everything else was marketing and sales.
operations. Yeah,
Yeah, operations, administrative. I had never seen that in my life in a medical practice. I was coming from traditional medicine. I
yeah,
was
because traditional medical practice is a medical practice function of insurance.
exactly.
You go into cash pay medical practice, is a new animal.
Yeah,
I like to call cash pay medical practices as a marketing companies that sell medical procedures.
100%.
So your
100%.
operations, your marketing, your sales, your retention
Yeah,
takes three-quarter of the space, and then another one-quarter of the space is fulfillment.
yeah, yeah. I can tell you this. I think in this business, marketing is definitely your business partner.
And it's a cash pay business. You have to get an exposure. It's
Yeah,
not like insurance will refer patients to you. No sales involved, and they pay for it too. So for a patient, they don't think about how much it's going to cost.
yeah.
But with a
Not to
cash pay
mention,
business, yeah,
not to
you
mention,
have to work on marketing. You have to make sure you have sales in place. You need to make sure you have retention in place. Yep, it's a different model.
yeah, 100%, 100%. But you know what? I've noticed that cash pay patients actually appreciate their services a lot more. And that's another thing I teach, and I try to teach during my course is because I get a lot of doctors that are making that transition. Like I said, this is growing. Usually, now it's becoming a lot younger doctors, but before was usually the older doctors that wanted to retire but get into something that they liked or something, and they would get into anti-aging. Now we're getting a lot of younger doctors, but I try to teach them that transition where treating the patient that's cash based is very different than treating 15-minute, because you have 150 patients waiting in the lobby, insurance patient. Not that you don't care about your insurance patient. I'm not saying that you're a bad doctor because you're seeing them in 15 minutes. It's just, you know, the beast caused it for it to be that way. But in cash based, I teach them about white glove service, which I learned with you guys, white glove service, very professional, very high end.
Luxury.
Yeah, luxury. Because this is a luxury. It's a privilege to be able to afford and pay for these services.
Yep.
You're taking out of any other luxury, and it's not vanity. I tell you, it's not vanity. It's definitely a better lifespan, better living, better quality of life. This was the word I was looking for.
David, if any medical practice wants to get in touch with you for any sort of help with training on the sexual health, how would they do it?
So you're more than if they reach out to you by any chance, you're more than welcome to give them my personal cell phone number.
Okay.
If not, this is going to be all over social media, so I'm not going to say my cell phone number, but they could definitely go to at Miami Love Doctor in my social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Dr. David Hernandez in Facebook as well, and DM me, and 100%. I'll help them out. I'll help them if they reach out to me first. I'll help them. I'll get in contact for training, for marketing, and if vice versa. I hope. But definitely, if you're a doctor out there and you're looking to get into cash based, or you're like looking to expand your practice, sexual health is definitely a perfect add-on, and a good marketing team can really make a difference. Not only for the quality of your patients, the quantity of your patients, and um, and the overall flow of your clinic. Because even though I had experience in the past, my experience was in the medical part. And when Alex came in here, he was the one that said, "You need to tweak this. You need to fix that. I need to see more marketing propaganda around your clinic." You know, and he still gives me tips and tricks to make my place look the way it's supposed to make and make it more comfortable for my patients. So
David, it was great talking to you. Thank you
it's
for
always a
all
pleasure,
your
Alex.
insights.
We have these conversations all the time. It's might
I
as well
know.
we get them on video.
I know, because my goal was always, ever since I joined the anti-aging movement, is to help consumer.
Yeah.
It's not until later on I realized that I can make a bigger impact by working with medical practices and help them to treat patients. And this is how I indirectly affect the lives of other people in a much larger scale.
No,
So
100%.
anything I can provide to medical practices that can help them, which is what we're talking about, sexual health, it all aligns with my values and my
You
goals.
basically, but you do basically what I try to do on my social media. My videos are about some funny videos, but mostly about education for the patient,
Yeah.
and that's what you do as a marketer. You don't say go to this place. You send education out there, and some a patient that needs it learns about a treatment they didn't know existed.
Yep.
You know, and for the patients watching or potential patients, make sure when looking for a provider, the provider you're going to knows what they're doing. Um, Make sure you do your homework and,
It's actually tough.
yeah,
It's
no,
actually tough to verify and confirm that a medical practice following right protocols.
yeah. So that's the thing
Yeah.
about this type of world of world in the medical field. The anti-aging movement. Everybody does whatever they want, basically, and some people make their own protocols and invent
That
their own.
gave me an idea. Open a directory of medical practices that we vet because we know them, and
I
list
don't,
them there for consumer. Different topic. All
yeah,
right, David, thank
keeps
you very
them
much. I don't
safe.
want to take any more of your time, but happy
And I
Labor
have
Day.
that idea on video, so we have.
I have a lot of ideas.
All right, buddy. It was great
Thank you.
seeing you, man.
Same here. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.